Yes, it is I, Tentus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time for Shadowrun. As we've been talking about, we were diving into the Matrix in the wireless world, and guess what? We're going to finish up today. We're going to finish up talking about drones and riggers. So, let's finish up where we were talking about, of course, with a drone has its own pilot brain, just like a program that it has, which functions allowing it to do its own actions and thoughts. And it functions at the speed of most programs. Unfortunately, it is limited by the physical body that it has. Overall, this means that it rolls its pilot rating plus the response of the actual body to figure out how much initiative it has. And it ends up with 2 bonus initiative passes, meaning a drone gets 3 initiative passes. If a drone is being directly controlled by a rigger, then it's going to use that rigger's initiative as its own. If a rigger goes in and out of a drone in the course of a turn, then that drone will be acting upon the rigger's initiative on either end of that. That means they will have the same initiative, regardless of the going in and out. Now, a rigger has a number of actions they can specifically perform other than just their combat actions or even matrix actions, which they might be able to continue to do. They get some extra actions. First off, they can activate or deactivate sensors on a drone. This is a free action. If they would activate sensors, they come online. They basically start to function at the beginning of the next combat turn. Not initiative pass, combat turn. The same way you can activate or deactivate the ECCM, the electronic countermeasures. Doing this, exactly the same, free action, and just like with the sensors, activates at the beginning of the next combat turn. As a free action, you can arm a weapon system. Now, a drone may have more than one weapon system, but they can only have one active at a time. It is also a free action to switch between the different weapon systems that a drone may have. It is a free action to basically get a status report on the drone, to see what kind of power it's used, to see what kind of ammunition it might have used, if it's got a weapon like that, to see what kind of damage it's taken. Basically getting the status of it, free action. Now it is a simple action to subscribe to a drone. So if you want to subscribe to a new drone, that's one of the ones you would have and you get it under your purview, simple action. To jump in or jump out of a drone is also a simple action. So if you want to try to begin to control it directly, simple action. To leave it, simple action. It is a complex action to use a drone's weapons. If you're using a drone's weapons, you cannot perform any other actions that relate to other drones. So if you are specifically choosing to use your drone's weapons, effectively you've jumped in, you're using them, you're not giving any other commands to any other drones, you're concentrating on that. Now let's talk about Autosofts. Autosofts are effectively programs that you're going to put into a drone to supplement the fact that its pilot program doesn't do a lot of things. Its pilot program is just basic information. There are a lot of extra things you might want your drone to do it's not programmed for. That's where the Autosoft comes in. An Autosoft allows you to supplement the fact that it doesn't have that smarts, it doesn't have that programming, and allows you to open up new commands that you can have for your drone. Each Autosoft is basically going to work along with the pilot rating of that drone to effectively give it its dice pool, similar to an attribute plus a skill check for anything else. This is allowing a little bit more leeway with what you can order your drone to do. ClearSight is effectively its visual program, the Autosoft you use to make it understand and interpret its sensor data even better. So basically its perception check is going to be a ClearSight plus pilot rating. Defense is a program that allows your vehicle to effectively dodge, to defend against melee attacks, to get out of the way of danger. It allows it make a defense plus pilot rating as a simple action to effectively get out of the way attacks, or to make a full defense as a complex action, very similar to what a normal person would do. Electronic warfare allows it effectively to use the abilities of the electronic warfare skill, to intercept information, to jam signals. The various things you would use the electronic warfare skill to do, that's what the electronic warfare Autosoft allows it to do. Maneuver is the Autosoft that allows it to function like a vehicle. Maneuver allows it to maneuver better. When you have a maneuver program, it functions exactly like any kind of driving skill that you would have. So it's maneuver plus pilot program, and that's effectively would be any vehicle skills this drone needs to do. Targeting is, of course, targeting with a ranged weapon. This functions exactly like gunnery and is going to be pilot plus targeting, allowing the drone to attack with whatever ranged weapons it has against whatever targets you're programming it to attack. Now, there's one last thing we want to talk about, and we're done with the wireless world. Updating your equipment. Because guess what? Most hackers, riggers, whatever, don't use standard equipment. The out-of-the-box factory device you might purchase, Comlink, they're not probably going to use that. Now, there are a couple of ways that they tend to upgrade this. First off, you could purchase new parts. Various different components of your system can be upgraded with purchasing from things like response and signal. Even system and firewall can be upgraded with purchasing new parts. They have their own, effectively, charts for figuring out how expensive it is. There are some right there in the book under the wireless worlds. Others, that especially when you come into things like programs, that are listed in the purchasing section of the book, if you want to find those out. But effectively, programs, system, firewall, hardware, response, signal, all can technically be upgraded. It's just a matter of purchasing them and installing them. But this is the only thing you can do. You can build your own hardware. Building your own hardware is using the building and repairing rules that are back from the skills when we were talking about them a little bit. And effectively what you're going to do is it's going to take a certain amount of money, about half of what it would be to purchase the item. It's going to have a certain threshold depending on how advanced you're making this hardware. And it's of course going to have its own interval. It's going to be an extended test to construct this. Once you've made all the successful rolls, you build the component yourself though, and then of course you can install it. Again, it's about half the price of buying it. The final thing that a hacker could do is code your own programs. Guess what? You can do that. This is just like, it functions on the same rules as building your own hardware. Exact same rules. Though it doesn't really cost you because you're programming your own programs. Coming up with your own ratings, it will still take enough time and effort in order to put these programs together that you're going to upload into your system for your own use. Effectively, your own versions of armor or medic or whatever. So, that's it for today. I finished talking about the wireless world. I finished up with talking about drones and rigging them, and I talked about just the initiative that your drones are going to have. I talked about the basic actions that you as a rigger can do with your drones, from all the free actions to the most complex action, which is using its weapons. I talked about your Autosofts, programs that are basically put into a drone to allow it to do more on its own, to do more roles that it wouldn't normally be allowed to do because you've put these Autosofts into it. Basically, you're giving it programs that it's allowed to use in order to use its own abilities better. Something that its basic dog brain pilot program doesn't know what to do on its own. I then talked about, of course, customizing your gear, from customizing the actual hardware to, which includes both purchasing and building new, to customizing your own programs and making them. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about running the shadows as a GM. Basically going over all the details you might need to know to run a game in the shadows. But if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's just for a channel, the Empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you could always check out my Patreon. Link in the description below. Got some great rewards there, and it does help support and grow the channel. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.